Is my screen visible?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Okay. So since like it seems like I have some more time left, so I can discuss a little bit about our another research agenda. So all these are around the same theme, like fairness, justice, and governance of content in social media. So one area which we have been actively working for last few years is analyzing hate content over social media. I guess this problem again does not need any introduction. However, before I proceed, I just want to make a disclaimer that this presentation might contain certain offensive words. However, due to the nature of the presentation or the nature of the work, it's very difficult to avoid those. They have been suitably obfuscated wherever appropriate, but I request the audience to bear with me. So I guess social media is now, omnipresent. Like there is social media for almost everything. Like there is social media for sharing news. There is social media for making friends. There is social media for posting pictures and whatnot. So of late, people, a majority of the population actually rates social media as one of the primary sources of news that they consume. Okay, and this therefore has led to many negative consequences. Although social media has a lot of positive sides, there are many good things that could have been done using social media, and that are also in fact being done in social media. However, every good thing has negative consequences, as we understand. Like even the like atom bomb, which was like the I guess all of you are aware that the physics and the chemistry behind it was like discovered for a different purpose. However, it got transformed into a bomb, which started like all these devastations during the world wars. So similarly, there are quite a few negative consequences of social media, and some of the primary ones are increased polarization, abuse against each other and against communities, and hate speech in particular, about which I'm going to talk a little bit about in this slides. So like some of the negative consequences that have been attributed to hate speech are listed below. Some of the striking ones are the Rohingya genocide, the Pittsburgh shooting, the Sri Lanka riots, etc. And you can name many such. And it's not a single platform that is culprit. Like you find hate speech across all different platforms, starting from Twitter, WhatsApp, and certain new social media platforms which have been conceived in order to spread hate. So this is one platform that I'm going to talk in a little more details in the next few slides. This is called Gab, and the post that you see here is from Robert Bowers. I guess many of you recollect this person's name. He was the prime convict for the Pittsburgh shooting, and this was the last post that he made on Gab, before which, after which he went and did the shooting. So if we were monitoring the platform, then probably, well ahead of time, then probably we could have, prevented the disaster. So this work actually is a contribution from 3 PhD students. So this is one of the largest areas in which my efforts goes in these days. So there are three PhD students working on it, Bini, Punnajoy, and Mithun. And with myself, there is another colleague, Professor Pawan Goel from our department, who are actively working on this area. So in today's talk, I'll be probably able to cover only the first topic, the spread of hate speech, which was published in ACM website in 2019. So there are many other works that we have been doing as follow-up. And if you are interested, you can look into my website. The details of all of these are presented there. Uh, so this work is, trying to study how hate speech spreads in online social media. Okay, so this paper was published in ACM 2019, and it was adjudged as the best paper honorable mention in the conference. So this work is on the platform Gab, and this Gab is a special social media platform which promotes itself as a champion of free speech. However, it has been criticized to be, an echo chamber of alt-right users. So alt-right means who are, middle right to far right users. So similar to Twitter, it has the content posting facility. Then you can like a content, you can share a content, you can repost a content. All the facilities are very, very similar to that of Twitter. And Gap promotes that it is actually a window of free speech. However, under this guise, it actually promotes a lot of hateful content. So on Gab, pretty much everything, posting pretty much everything is allowed. So there is very little moderation. While in Twitter and other such platforms, if you post something offensive or hateful, it's very likely that your post is going to be deleted, and in more adverse situations, your account might also get suspended. However, in Gab, none of these typically happen, and the platform is pretty unmoderated in that sense. So we collected around 21 million posts from around 343,000 users. So as you understand, this is a large data. So the so-called, big data that we collected using the Gab API. And we have various information, like including the basic details of each user, like the username, etc., and wherever the profile information is there, like age, gender, and so on, and all posts from the user, and the followers and the followings of the user. Okay? So all these okay. So with this data set, we start our analysis. So this slide actually summarizes the entire workflow, and then I'll blow up each of the parts in the later slides. So first thing that we do is we create a seed set of hateful users who have made 10 or more hateful posts. From this, we construct a repost network. I'll tell what is it exactly. And then from there, we construct something called a belief network. Now we initialize the seed set of hateful users with score 1 and the rest with score 0. Then we run a very simple diffusion model on this belief network and update the beliefs of the users iteratively till some convergence points. And then users who have a belief score between 0.75 and 1, we call them hateful users. We arrive at around 2,300 such hateful users among 343,000 users, and another set of users whose belief scores are between 0 and 0.25. We call them non-hateful users. They are around 58,800 in number. So you see the hateful users is much less in number compared to the non-hateful users. And there is a large gap between the two ends. So one end is 0.75 to 1 and the other end is 0 to 0.25. The rest of the users lie in between this range. And for these users, we don't have something conclusive. So it's very difficult to say whether they are hateful or non-hateful, and therefore we do not comment on them, and we study this subset of users, the 2290 plus 58803 users. Now blowing up each part separately. So how do we obtain the seed set of hateful users? We do some lexicon-based filtering. So we construct a lexicon of some 45 very high precision keywords which are indicative of hate, like kike, which is a racial slur against Jews, beach 12, which is a racial slur against fat people, paki, which is a racial slur against Muslims, and so on and so forth. So we have 45 such high precision keywords. And in Gab, like if you see a post containing one or more of these slurs, you are almost sure that this is a hateful post. And then we shortlist all those users who have 10 plus such posts, okay, with one or more such keywords in them. So all those users form our seed set of users. So now we construct something called a repost network. So a repost network is as follows. So each circle, each node here is a user, okay? And the edges indicate that how many posts the user C has posted, that is indicated by the self loop. That is, the user C in this case has posted 10 posts, and the same user C has reposted 5 of the posts of user A. Okay, so C has made 10 of its own posts and has reposted 5 of the posts made by A. Similarly, user A has posted 17 posts and has not reposted any post from the other two users. Similarly, for B, it has not done any post of its own, but has only reposted 9 of the posts of user A. Okay. From this repost network, we construct something called a belief network. What is the belief network? Now we see, like for the node C, how many posts as a fraction of total number of posts that has been done by C itself. So in this case, you see 10 posts out of total number of posts that C have made, that is 10 plus 5, 15 posts. Out of that, 10 posts have been made by C individually. So the fraction here indicates 10 by 15, whereas the fraction here indicates 5 by 15. So this is kind of indicating the extent of belief that C has on itself and that C has on the user A. So, and now you see from the repost network, we have converted the network into a belief network where the edges have also got inverted. Okay, so it is as if that C has a 0.33 belief on A and 0.67 belief on itself. B has 0.75 belief on A and 0.25 belief on itself. And A has complete belief on itself only. So this is how you read the belief network. Now, once you have constructed the belief network, we actually run a belief propagation model. In this case, we have used a degroot model. It's a very, very simple model. So let's say using the initial set of hateful keywords, we have already identified A to be a hateful user. Okay, so among the hateful users that were in our initial set, let A be one of the users. So A's score is set to 1, as I have told earlier. Now we run a belief propagation algorithm. That is, we find out the score of the belief score of C at time point I plus 1 as 0.33 into the belief score of A at time point I plus 0.67 into belief score of C at time point I. So these are the belief weights. Okay. And in this case, in the first time point, when I is 0, BA is 1 and BIC is 0, right? Because we don't have any belief score here, whereas we have a belief score of 1 here. So then the belief score at I plus 1 becomes 0.33. And in this way, you keep on computing the belief score over and over again. And after a point in time, what we observe is that the belief scores do not change or change very, very, very little. Okay. So at that point, we stop further computation. And so this is the point that we call the convergence point. And at this point, the nodes which have score of 0.75 to 1 are typically termed as the hateful users or KH, which means known hateful, and the nodes with scores 0 to 0.25 are called NH or the non-hateful users. Okay, so now question is, like, after we have done this exercise, we have to understand, right, like how good our identification has been. So we actually ask two annotators and give them some 100 users that we have annotated using our method, that we have actually identified using our method, and ask them to find out whether our predictions from the model are correct or not. So the annotator 1 finds 86.9% agreement, okay, for the hateful user prediction, and 92.2% agreement for the non-hateful user prediction. Also, the annotator 2 finds 93.2 and 99.4 respectively. So there is a high agreement between what the annotator is predicting, or what the annotator is judging, and the model is predicting. And the agreement between the two annotators is also pretty high, which is denoted by the kappa value. So further evidences. So we try to see, what are the specific topics in which the hateful users that we have identified actually post their content. So there are various topics that are listed in GAP, and some of the topics where the hateful users actually post their content are like Jews are the synagogue of Satan, the black race sucks. So the names themselves indicate that they are hateful topics. And it seems that most of the hateful users that we have identified actually post in hateful topics. Whereas for users whom we have identified as non-hateful, they typically do not post in such hateful topics. Same is the in the type of URLs shared. So the hateful users share domains that many of which are extreme right. Okay, like end cultural Marxism, etc. Some of the names themselves are very revealing. So these kind of domains are being shared by the hateful users in their posts. So this gives us a lot of evidence that whatever prediction we have done are quite authentic, and we can progress with the further analysis. Now, in order to study how far the messages of these hateful users spread in the network, we study something called cascades. So cascades are paths traced by a post as it is reposted by other users. So suppose a user posts something, then you look at the path traced by the other users who are posting this post. So now it is very difficult to actually trace the influence path. We leverage the social connections between users to identify these paths, and we employ something called the LRIF, or the least recent influencer model, to create a DAG to trace the path. I'll come to this in the next slide. So let's say we again have a network like this. So A, B, C, D, E are the different users. And let's say the posting time of a particular post is given by the number written beside the node. So A posts the original post at time 0. B posts it at time 100. C posts it at time 300. D posts it at time 500, and E posts it at for time 400. Now, the edges that you see here are the followership links. Okay, so C is able to see the post of A and B because C follows both A and B. Okay, now the question is, uh, A has posted the post at time 0 and B has posted the same post at time 100. Now the question is, from whom did C get the message? It is following both A and B, so there is a confusion. So this is a confounding factor. Like, from whom do we assume that C has got the message? In other terms, who has influenced C? Is it A or is it B? So we have to disambiguate. Now there are various disambiguation algorithms, two of which are very popular. One is the LRIF, that is the least recent influencer, which means the person who has posted earlier. Okay, so here, since A has posted earlier than B, we will assume that A is the influencer of C. The other one is the most recent influencer, where B would be considered as the influencer of C. So we have taken both of them and we have seen that the results don't vary much. However, for the sake of simplicity, here we will present only the results for the least recent influencer model. So once you have identified who are your least recent influencers, from this graph, now you have a DAG, which is nothing but a cascade tree. Like this is the way the message has flowed. That is how you can imagine. Like, A has posted, C has seen the message, C has posted, and E has seen the message. So this is how the message is getting cascaded in the network or flowing in the network. So now we study the cascades generated by the posts of the hateful users and compare it with the cascades generated by the posts cascades generated by the posts of the non-hateful users. Now we study various different cascade properties. So these are standard properties. Now, as you see, this is a DAG. You can measure different things like the number of unique nodes in the DAG. That is the number of users, which is also called the size of the cascade. The depth, that is the length of the largest path in the cascade. Okay, that you can easily find out. Since it's a DAG, you can always find out the largest path. The average depth, that is the depth of each path from the root node. The breadth, that is how much the cascade has spread at any level. Okay, and the structural virality, which is like the average pairwise distance between any pair of nodes. Okay, so all these measures you can study, and each of them kind of indicate how the cascade has spread in the network. Okay, now we studied the cascades with respect to three different types of posts: the original posts made by the hateful and non-hateful users, the post that contains attachments like media files or images, and the posts that contain to different topics. I showed you earlier that posts can be made to different topics. So first, if we look at the plain textual posts, we observe that the cascade size, depth, breadth, average depth, structural virality, all are larger for the hateful users compared to the non-hateful users. And all these results are actually statistically significant. So we did a statistical significance using this test, using the Kolmogorov-Smirnov test. So we observed that all of these are larger for the hateful group compared to the non-hateful group. And this, so this is in a nutshell the summary of the results. Posts of hateful users have a larger audience, they spread wider, deeper, and are more viral in nature. So the second is like if the post has some attachments like media files or images. Here we see that the differences are getting only more pronounced. Okay, so it is that the gap between the hateful and the non-hateful users is only larger here. and same is the case for the topics. So this kind of shows us that if things get unmoderated, things remain unmoderated in a platform as in Gab, then it might be very detrimental, because then the flow of hate speech actually is accelerated. So every time a new hate post is made, it accelerates very fast in both breadth and width and depth in the network. And therefore, there should be certain moderation techniques that should be in place in order to, contain the spread of such vicious content. So I'd stop here and would like to take questions now. Thank you.
So there is one question in chat box, that how you have collected data set.
Yeah, so which data? Is this the first talk of the first data or the second data?
I think the second session which you have taken, second lecture.
Okay, second lecture, like as I said, so the GAB website provides an API. So we used the API to collect the data. So there is a standard API which the GAB website provides us, and we use that in order to collect the data. So if you search using the term GAB API, I'm typing it in the chat box on Google, you should be able to find out. The data is also public. So if you write to us, we can share the data with you. This data is public.
Hello.
Yes.
Hello, sir. I have a question that you mentioned that some 40 or 45 initial hateful words you have fixed initially. So somehow, I mean, is it possible? I mean, there may be that few new form of hateful words are coming. Either new words or the representations are sometimes different. Means either using taboo morpheme like star star star, or it may be letters are bungled, or there are so many ways these hateful words are represented in the media. So if I, and not only that, not only these 40 or 45 hateful words, there may be so many more. So is there any, I mean, if we fix on this 40 or 45 hateful words, if I fix here, so I mean, what do you think, that is there any impact on new type of negative words or something? I mean, my question clear?
Yes, yes. The question is very clear, and it's a very interesting question. So there are two aspects of it. The first aspect is that note that we are studying, or we are doing this analysis on the GAP platform. In the GAP platform, since the content is not moderated, you don't need to obfuscate keywords, okay, hateful keywords. You really absolutely don't need to obfuscate. So anything hateful, you are very, very sure that GAB is not going to put it down. Okay, so the first part of the answer concerns the GAP platform. The second part is that, like, whether new hateful keywords are coming up or not. Agreed, they are coming up. And if you look at other platforms like Twitter or Reddit, where the content moderation policies are very, very strict, even obfuscating does not help. So even if you obfuscate certain characters from the hateful words, that also does not help. Twitter has tricky algorithms to catch it. So what people are doing is they are inventing hate codes. For instance, they are inventing codes for blacks, Jews, Muslims, and these codes could be Skype, Microsoft, Google. So each of these have an interpretation which only the community understands. Okay, so something like all the Microsoft should be killed. Okay, so they would say something like this. So which is like a hate code, and it is very, very difficult to identify such codes. So there are separate initiatives that are going on even in our lab, through which we are trying to actually identify such hate codes. However, for the gap platform, this is not much relevant because it's like a free platform. The second thing is, we were very much aware that there might be certain things that we are missing. That's why we uh, said that these are our initial seed words. And we started off with these initial seed words, and we ran this diffusion algorithm. Why did we run this diffusion algorithm? We could have stopped at, considering only those users who have posted one or more of these hateful keywords. We did not do that. We also wanted to get an idea of the users that surround these users, imagining that those users might also be sharing or reposting these ideas. So they might not be directly using these keywords, but they
Similar
might
kind of
be,
mentality.
yeah, they might have a similar mentality, or they might be following them. So if you are following continuously a hateful user, and if you are reposting the hateful content posted by that user, then a natural conclusion would be that, that person is also hateful, but probably not proactive. That person is just reactive. So that's why we did this diffusion model to collect more evidence.
Okay, sir. Thank you. Thank you.
So there is another question on chat box. Is by Ontara Pal.
So
In which
language,
language
yes,
are
I see the question. Language means programming language, you mean to say? See, you can use any programming language, but I think our students mostly use, because these are mostly NLP related stuffs, our students mostly use Python.
I think there are no more questions coming. So we
Okay,
can
thank you very
end here.
much.
Thank you, sir, for delivering such a informative speech. And so we will end here. Thank you
Okay,
once again, sir.
thank you.
And for the
Thanks a lot.
participants, we will just come back at 2 p.m. for the next session.